Good day and welcome to this training video on the 3D Atlas title by Primal Pictures. 3D Atlas is a gross atlas of human anatomy that is three-dimensional, and it's a great way to start exploring the anatomy and understanding relational anatomy in a 3D way. These models work in a layering system, which is a little bit different from 3D real-time. But like I said, this layering system is really helpful for when you're first exploring and understanding the anatomy and getting that relational understanding of structures. So let's just start off with orientating ourselves with the layout of the screen. On the left-hand side, you have your menu bar. In the middle, you have your main viewing pane or your interaction pane. And on the right-hand side, you have your information bar. The first icon in your menu is where you have the different 3D views or 3D models available. And you will see that key organs and organ systems have been modeled separately. So there's a very comprehensive list of 3D views here. And let's open up one of the heart to work on today. With these models, you can interact with them in various different ways. You will see these buttons at the bottom of your screen, and we're starting off all the way at layer number 1, but there are many different layers to this model where we can add different pieces of anatomy and understand the relationship between structures. You can also rotate this model by either clicking down on your screen and simply swiping along, or you could use the left and right arrows at the bottom of your screen. Now you may have already noticed this, but there are also rollover labels for all of the visible structures in the human body. And if you click on a structure, it's going to give you explanatory text and information about the structure so that you can understand the anatomy in high detail while you explore it on the 3D model. Okay, but that's it. They are very easy and intuitive to use, and this is a very powerful way to understand the anatomy comprehensively. So let's go see what else is in the menu now. After the 3D views, we have some MRI images, and these MRI images are going to be projected next to a 3D model that mirrors this MRI. So you will see here that our 3D model is still fully interactive. We have an axial section of the thorax over here, and we have an MRI image that is mirroring our 3D model. And if you highlight any structures on either the MRI image or on your 3D model, it's going to give you the name of the structure and highlights it on both images to help you interpret this MRI. You can move between different layers using these up and down arrows, and the MRI and 3D model are going to move at the same time, so you can continually cross-reference, and you still have that explanatory information at the top of your screen. After that, we have some still 2D slides. The anatomy slides are organized by system, and these are mostly labeled diagrams, which are great to download and save and insert into your study notes or use offline. I'll show you how to save something in a moment. That's further down in the menu. Let's first look at a clinical slide. These are examples of clinical conditions relating to the area that we are working on. We're in the thorax and abdomen, and this is showing an image of an acute myocardial infarct affecting the heart. And then we have the very important dissection slides. These dissection slides are very crucial in understanding a realistic view of the patient or the cadaveric anatomy. And you'll see that it's still fully interactive, and these rollover labels will help you interpret and understand the anatomy. And after that, we have some still thorax MRI slides, which are slices simply taken from the previous imaging content that we were looking at. Okay, after the slides, we have some movies, and these will go over surface anatomy movements of the trunk. Then we have anatomical structures organized by system. So these are still 3D views or 3D models, but these are more focused categories of 3D models. It's very comprehensive, but this is a place to come if you are wanting a more focused approach to the anatomy when looking for an appropriate 3D model. Then after that, in our menu, we have our alphabetical index to navigate your way through content if you'd like to do so in that way. You have the favorite icon where you can favorite any content to revisit later. What's important here is I'm signed into my personal profile, so all of my favorited content is stored to the cloud and will be accessible on any device that I use. But if I wasn't logged into my personal profile, over here it would say that it would be stored to my browser, or in other words, stored to this device. But here I've stored this favorite into my cloud, and now I could go and access it on my phone, for example. Then you can share a link to anything you are viewing on Primal Pictures by clicking copy link. There is the embed function, which is for lecturers to embed content onto a learning management system or a website. There is the very important download function, where you could download an image of any of the content or the accompanying text in the information pane. So right now, because I have the pectoralis major muscle highlighted and selected, the text that would be saved would be this information about the pec major. And lastly, you have some settings that you can change according to your personal preferences. But that brings us to the end of 3D Atlas. I really hope you go and explore this title and enjoy it, and I wish you all of the best in your future adventures with Primal Pictures.